Good afternoon and welcome to BeeTv News at 12, news on the hour. I am Evelyn Izebili and now to the news in details. The Edo State Governor Senator Monday Okwebelo, His Excellency Senator Monday Okwebelo, has approved the nomination of Dr. Jerry Uwangwe, Honorable Barrister Kenneth Okurwa Iheseke, Barrister Osembo Paul Ehige, and Akigbe Usi John Sunday as Commissioner Designate for Edo State. This was contained in a statement released by the Secretary to the State's Government, Barrister Musa Ikile. BeeTv News Best also has details.
Dr. Jerry Wangwe is the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of J&G Engineering and Construction Services Limited with over 2 decades of experience in engineering, procurement, construction, operations, and maintenance services in the oil, gas, and power sectors. He is renowned for driving business growth, spearheading innovative fabrication projects, and improving operational efficiency. Dr. Wangwe is a Fellow of the Chartered Institute of Information and Strategic Management, recipient of the African Leadership Excellence Award, and ambassador of the African Union Agenda for outstanding achievements in business and local content development. Next is Honorable Barrister Kenneth Okurwa Iheseke, PhD. Barrister Iheseke is a seasoned lawyer, politician, and public administrator with a rich history of service to Edo State. He has served as Minority Leader of Edo State House of Assembly between 1999 to 2003, Commissioner for Youth and Sports 2003 to 2005, Commissioner for Energy and Water Resources 2005 to 2007, Commissioner for Agriculture and Natural Resources 2007 to 2008, Special Advisor on Project Monitoring 2013 to 2014, Deputy Chief of Staff to the Governor 2015, and Principal Private Secretary to the APC National Chairman 2018 to 2020. He holds a Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy, Masters in Political Science, and a PhD in International Relations from the University of Benin. Next is Barrister Osembo Paul Ehige. Barrister Osembo Paul Ehige is a highly skilled legal practitioner and knowledge management professional with more than 20 years of cross-section experience. He has served as General Manager, Regulatory Compliance at the FGRO Energy Services, where he developed compliance frameworks and risk mitigation strategies, and as Senior Legislative Aide to the National Assembly, providing research and drafting support for over 20 bills and motions. He is Principal Partner of Paul Osembo & Co., a Fellow of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators UK, and a respected figure in governance, integrity reform, and public finance management. Akigbe Osi John Sunday is the last on the list. He is a respected technocrat and community development advocate. He has been actively involved in initiatives promoting youth empowerment, entrepreneurship, and civic participation in governance. He is recognized for his commitment to public service and grassroots development, consistently working to strengthen community engagement and socio-economic growth. The nominations of the above listed individuals will be forwarded to the Edo State House of Assembly for consideration and confirmation. Best Orator reporting for BeeTv News.
The U.S. President Trump is set to meet King Charles in Windsor Castle as part of his first full day in an unprecedented second state visit. Trump arrived in London last night and said it is going to be a big day today. Trump and First Lady Melania Trump spent the night at Winfield House, the home of the U.S. ambassador to the UK since 1955. BeeTv News Best Orator has details.
Landing at the Stansted Airport, President Donald Trump received an official welcome from a lineup on the runway, including Foreign Secretary. The red carpet is being rolled out with cartridge processions, military parades, the Red Arrows, and a state banquet. The president spent the night in the U.S. ambassador's residence, Winfield House, before a day of royal ceremony and lavish spectacle in Windsor Castle on Wednesday, with the president describing Windsor as the ultimate in settings. The measures needed to keep the president safe during his stay cost millions of pounds and involve his own secret service detail as well as thousands of local police officers. His first state visit in June 2019 saw more than 6,000 Metropolitan Police officers deployed at an estimated cost of £3.4 million. The president's security has been tightened in recent days following the fatal shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk at the university in Ottawa. Ronald Kessler, an author with expertise on the Secret Service, said that preparations for a state visit begin many weeks before the president actually arrives and include discussions with local police as well as surveillance of any potential threats. Approximately 60 Secret Service agents are usually tasked with directly protecting the president alongside local police who are used to establish condos, block traffic, and secure airspace. The president's entourage is expected to include hundreds of staff and support personnel. Trump, who was accompanied by his wife, Melania, arrived in UK on his customed high-spec Boeing 474-200B aeroplane known as Air Force One. Air Force One is not actually a specific plane, but instead refers to one of two specially adopted Boeing 747-200B series aircraft, which carried the tail codes 28,000 and 29,000. Despite looking similar to a commercial airliner on the outside, Air Force One is classed as a military aircraft due to its advanced electronic equipment and defense systems. It is designed to withstand an air attack by jamming enemy radar and being able to inject flares to throw heat-seeking missiles, of course. It is also capable of refueling mid-air, allowing it to fly for an unlimited time crucial in an emergency. Best Orator reporting for BeeTv News.
Farmers in Zambia have filed an $80 billion, which is equivalent to 58.5 billion euros lawsuit against two Chinese-linked firms, blaming them for an ecological catastrophe caused by the collapse of a dam that stored waste from copper mining. Millions of liters of highly acidic material spilled into waterways in February, leading to mass fatalities among fish, making water undrinkable and destroying crops, the farmers said in court papers. This is one of the biggest environmental lawsuits in Zambia's history, with the farmers saying the spillage affects about 300,000 households in the copper mining region. The U.S. Embassy issued a health alert in August, raising concerns of widespread contamination of water and soil in the area. The lawsuit pits villagers, who are mostly subsistence farmers, against Sino Metal Leach Zambia and NFC Africa Mining, which are subsidiaries of Chinese-owned state firms. A group of 176 of them have filed papers on behalf of the community in the High Court in Zambia's capital, Lusaka. They allege the collapse of the tailing dam owned by Sino Metal Leach Zambia but located in the surface area of NFC Africa Mining was caused by numerous factors, including engineering failures, construction flaws, and operational mismanagement. The firms have not yet commented on the lawsuit, but Sino Metal Leach Zambia has previously said there was a spillage of about 50,000 cubic meters. We'll take a short break and we will be right back shortly. Stay with us.
My people of Edo State, development is not a miracle. It is the result of responsibility and action. You want good roads, quality hospitals, schools, jobs for our youth? Then you must understand this simple truth. Government cannot perform without your tax. Government will fix schools, build roads, light up communities. If the people pay their tax, that's how governance works. It is not about politics. It is about progress. When you pay your tax, you are not helping the government. You are helping yourself. You are helping your family and your future. Don't wait to be chased. Do the right thing. Be part of building the new Edo State. Pay your tax with pride. Let us build Edo together. This message is brought to you by Edo State Internal Revenue Service.
EIRS, Administering Revenue for Service and Development.
Welcome back from that short break. Greece has announced the recovery of artifacts from the wreck of HMAS Britannic more than a century after the Titanic sister ship was sunk in wartime in the Aegean Sea by the German mine. The operation was carried out in May but only made public on now when the Culture Ministry released details of the finds. BeeTv News' Sohe Osewenge has details.
An 11-member team of professional deep-sea divers with closed-circuit equipment conducted the recovery organized by British historian Simon Miles, founder of the Britannic Foundation. Among items retrieved and lifted with airbags were the ship's lookout bell, a portside navigation lamp, binoculars, ceramic tiles from Turkish bats, and equipment from first and second-class cabins. The artifacts were secured in containers and immediately cleaned of marine organisms. They were then transferred to the laboratories of the Authority of Underwater Antiquities in Athens, where conservation work will continue. Some objects identified in the original plan could not be recovered because of the condition and location. Artifacts will eventually go on display at the new National Museum of Underwater Antiquities in Piraeus, in a section dedicated to World War I. The Britannic was a third of the White Star Line Company's Olympic class of steamships, along with the RMS Titanic and RMS Olympic. The vessel was requisitioned by the British Admiralty during the war to serve as a hospital ship. On 16 November 1916, it struck a German mine off the island of Kea and sank in less than an hour. Of the 1,065 people on board, 30 died with 2 lifeboats were pulled into the ship's propellers. As Soha Osemegi reporting for BeeTv News.
2 teenagers who peed into a pot of birth at a hotspot restaurant have been ordered to pay 2.2 million yuan to 2 catering companies in China. The incident, which happened in February at the Shanghai branch of China's biggest hotspot chain, Hidalao, sparked widespread criticism after the 17-year-old posted a video of their drunken acts online. There is no suggestion that anyone consumed the contaminated broth, but Hidalao had offered to pay thousands of dinars who died at the restaurant in the days following the incident. In March, Hidalao sought more than 23 million yuan in losses, saying this took into account the amount it compensated customers over the incident. Last Friday, a Shanghai court found that the teenagers had infringed upon the company's property rights as well as reputation through acts of insults, noting that their actions contaminated tableware and caused strong discomfort among the public. It also found that the teen parents had failed to fulfill their duties of guardianship and ordered that they bear the compensation, state media reported. This includes 2 million yuan for operational and reputational damage, 130,000 yuan to one of the caterers for tableware losses and cleaning expenses, and 70,000 yuan in legal costs. However, the court ruled that any additional compensation Hidalao offered to its customers beyond what they were billed was a voluntary business decision and therefore should not be borne by the teenagers. Fears that South Sudan, the world's youngest nation, could plunge into a new civil war had intensified after the party of suspended Vice President Riek Machar called for regime change. The call, named after Machar, currently under house arrest, was charged with murder, treason, and crimes against humanity. BeeTv News God Gifts Omone has details.
Machar Party, the Sudan People's Liberation Movement in opposition, has denounced his charges as a political witch hunt. to dismantle a 2018 peace accord that ended a 5-year civil war. Meanwhile, extra troops from neighboring Uganda have been deployed to South Sudan's capital, Juba, in a bid to strengthen the government's grip on power. The latest crisis comes as a UN report has accused South Sudanese officials of stealing billions of dollars in oil revenues and leaving millions of people without essential services. Trouble started when South Sudan, one of the world's poorest countries, gained independence from Sudan in 2011 after decades of struggle led by the Sudan People's Liberation Movement under President Salva Kiir. Just 2 years into independence, a civil war erupted when Kiir dismissed Machar as vice president, accusing him of plotting a coup. The ensuing conflict, largely fought along ethnic lines between supporters of the two leaders, resulted in an estimated 400,000 deaths and 2.5 million people being forced from their homes, more than a fifth of the population. As part of the peace deal, Machar was reinstated as vice president within a unity government that was meant to pave the way for elections. The current crisis was sparked at the beginning of March when the White Army militia, which was allied to Machar during the Civil War, clashed with the army in Upper Nile State and overran a military base in Nasir. Then on 7th March, a UN helicopter attempting to evacuate troops came under fire, leaving several dead, including a high-ranking army general. Nearly 3 weeks later, Machar and several of his associates were placed under house arrest. They were accused of trying to stir up a rebellion. Rather than diffusing tensions, the government struck again, hitting Machar with a slew of charges, including treason, the ultimate crime against the state in September. Days later, his party racketed up the pressure, denouncing Kiir's government as a dictatorship and demanding regime change. In what appeared to be a call to arms, it urged its supporters to report for national service and to use all means available to regain their country and sovereignty. However, there are no reports to suggest that troop mobilization is underway, offering a glimmer of hope that fresh fighting would not erupt. Because Gift Omone reporting for BeeTv News.
President Bola Tinubu returned to Abuja on Tuesday evening after cutting short what was initially scheduled as a 10-day leave to Paris and London. The Airbus A330 conveying the president touched down at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja at 6:50 p.m. local time. Tinubu, who departed Nigeria on September 4th, had been expected to remain in Europe until later this week. No official reason was given for the decision to curtail the trip. The president returned come as a 6-month emergency rule in the oil-rich River State elapses this Thursday. Tinubu, 73, has made 15 foreign trips since January 2025, often combining official meetings with period of rest. His last known trip holiday was in April, when he spent about 14 working days in Paris and London. Romania far-right former presidential candidate Calin Georgescu have been charged with attempting to stage a coup after the first round of the presidential election was annulled last December. Horacio Portra, a former French legionnaire and military chief in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and 20 other people were also charged. The case rests on a planned raid on the Romanian capital, Bucharest, on 8 December, which police foiled. BeeTv News' God Gift Omani has more.
Romanian prosecutors described a plot targeting Romania's constitutional order involving Georgescu, Portra, their group, and alleged foreign intelligence links. Portra and others have been charged with instigating the coup, while Georgescu is accused of conspiring with Portra. Prosecutors say Georgescu met Portra and other members of his group at a horse farm in December, soon after Georgescu's victory was annulled. Georgescu initially denied that the meeting took place, but later admitted it after photographs were published in Romanian media. However, he denies discussing plans To stage an insurrection in late February, police raided several locations in Romania, uncovering a cache of weapons, gold and cash, with which it is alleged Potra's group were planning to stage a violent power grab. Prosecutors say Potra is currently not in the country and may seek asylum in Russia. Gheorghiu, 63, came a surprise first in the first round of Romania's presidential election late November. That result was annulled by the Constitutional Court just days before the second round was due to take place amid allegations of Russian interference. Romanian intelligence services suggested his presence and popularity on social media had been boosted by a mass influence operation conducted from abroad to interfere with the result of the vote. At a press conference, Prosecutor General Floretta described the annulled 2024 election as the result of a hybrid war orchestrated by Russia. He alleged that cyber attacks on airports and public institutions coincided with an online disinformation campaign waged through troll farms, bots, and AI-generated content. According to investigators, more than 2,000 Facebook pages were used to amplify pro-Gheorghiu messaging, while TikTok networks of over 20,000 automated accounts boosted his campaign in the days before the vote. After Gheorghiu was barred from registering as a candidate, his ally George Simeon, the leader of the far-right AUR party, stood in his place in the May rerun. Simeon won a dramatic first-round victory but was eventually beaten into second place by Nicoso Dan, the liberal pro-EU mayor of Bucharest, in the runoff. Gheorghiu has not yet commented on the charges, although this month he accused the Romanian authorities of ruling through deceit, intrigue and division. President Dan said the report by prosecutors was proof that Russia had exercised systematic disinformation in Romania and had tried to influence the 2024 election. A date for Gheorghiu's trial has not yet been given, but it could begin in early 2026. I am Gosgift Omone, reporting for BeeTv News.
71-year-old man George Zinn was briefly detained after the fatal shooting of conservative commentator Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University, but later accused of faking a confession to help the real suspect escape. Police said Zinn shouted that he was the gunman, allowing 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, now charged with aggravated murder, to flee. Though cleared of involvement in the killing, Zinn faces charges of obstruction of justice and possession of child sex abuse material after investigators found explicit images of minors. A judge ordered him held without bail while Robinson awaits trial for what authorities described as a targeted attack. In July, Angola was rocked by deadly protests after fuel price hikes sparked 3 days of unrest in Luanda and other provinces. At least 30 people were killed and thousands arrested as demonstrations led mostly by frustrated young people turned violent with looting, roadblocks and clashes with police. The unrest highlighted deep poverty, inequality and mass youth unemployment despite the country's vast oil wealth. President Joao Lourenço blamed anti-patriots and groups for the violence, but many see it as a response to worsening living conditions and failed economic reforms. With inflation high and millions living in poverty, analysts warn that unless root causes are addressed, growing political awareness among the youth could fuel more protests before the 2027 elections. And now to the entertainment news. Afrobeat superstar David Adeleke, professionally known as Davido, has outlined why he chooses not to block critics and trolls on social media despite frequent negative remarks. Also, Grammy winner producer Omen Brown dies at 47. Let's join BeeTv News God Gives Omane for details and more from the entertainment world.
The singer explained that his decision is international, allowing detractors to continue observing his career milestones and personal achievements instead of being excluded. He maintained that blocking them would only prevent them from witnessing his progress. Davido also noted that although he keeps his platforms open, he reserves the right to respond when criticisms cross acceptable boundaries. His stance reflects the broader challenge faced by public figures in balancing visibility, criticism, and personal boundaries in the digital space. In another development, Nigerian content creator and TikTok personality Pella has rewarded a market worker with 500,000 naira after testing his willingness to assist with a simple errand. The incident took place in Lagos when the worker, who recognized Pella on his way home, was asked to purchase food and drinks. Despite the rainfall, the worker carried out the request and returned with the items. Impressed by the man's efforts, Pella increased his intended reward of 200,000 naira to 500,000 naira, which he presented immediately. The act reflects the entertainer's commitment to recognizing and rewarding small acts of kindness amongst everyday Nigerians. Grammy Award-winning music producer Sydney Omen Brown has passed away at the age of 49. His body was discovered in his Harlem, New York apartment on September 13, 2025, after colleagues raised concerns about his absence from work. The New York City Medical Examiner is scheduled to conduct an autopsy to determine the exact cause of death, which has not yet been confirmed. Throughout his career, Brown collaborated with several international acclaimed artists and was celebrated for his significant contributions to the global music industry. He earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in Sociology and Music from Amherst College in 2013 and later completed a master's degree in Theological Studies at Boston University in 2016. He was the son of Martha Brown. And that is it from the entertainment world. Cosgift Omone reporting for BeeTv News.
And that's it for the news on the hour. I remain Evelyn Isabelli. Thank you and good afternoon.